Hello and welcome to the Social Recruiting Show. I'm Katrina, Collier, candidate engagement author and speaker who cannot speak this Friday. I'm joined by my gorgeous co-host, Audra, employer branding genius, who's actually super excited to be able to grill today's guest, who's Carl Hoffman, your founder, CEO of Talentry, which I just learnt to pronounce 1 minute ago. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Do you want to start by kind of giving us your background, how you got into the recruitment field or HR tech field?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, happy to be on the show. Looking forward. A bit exciting, my first live podcast. So let's see what happens. What did I do before? Actually, I started Talentry directly from university. It was more from the kind of candidate point of view. Yeah, so all of my all of the students were finished with university. And basically everyone already had a job and no one was really looking for a job anymore. And we were asking ourselves, okay, something has changed on the market. And always when we asked our the other students, they were always saying that they got a job through referrals. Yeah, they knew somebody or they did an internship before. So we saw the way people actually get a job nowadays is not like that funnel, where you kind of apply for a job and then you have the typical application process. It's more it's more the experience you have before and then you build a relationship with the employer and we saw that's kind of the way people nowadays make decisions, and we found it interesting to allow companies to hire more people through referrals, and that's kind of how we started with Talentry.
See, that's how recruitment used to be way back in the day. Like I'd be like, "Oh, Dad, I need a job," and Dad would be like, "Go talk to Uncle Rob," and Uncle Rob would be like, "Yeah, go talk to Blair," and that's how you get a job. Yeah, I mean, so you're kind of bringing it back. Exactly. And
I mean, back then, many companies were also relying on headhunters because the market was already changing. So they gave lots of money to headhunters to find IT staff. Job ads weren't working as good anymore, and so we said, okay, let's find a way to make active sourcing more scalable through the employees networks.
Yeah. So wow, I can't believe you've been doing that since uni. It's quite extraordinary.
Mm-hmm. But also think about cost versus getting a headhunter versus just asking for referrals.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can reduce your costs a lot. Yeah, and talking about my own cost of living, I think there was a big advantage starting directly after university because you don't have a very, very high standard of living. So you can basically just save costs, what you need to do as a startup. You can just try out whether it works or not. So that was a big advantage we had back then.
I imagine the other advantage is you don't have a jaded opinion of the recruitment industry before you even start. Because if you were to do it now, you might think differently.
Probably, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, it's very different. So where is the company going now? So I know you had a press release the other day. That was something quite new. Do you want to tell us a bit about that before we get onto the topic?
So we started with employee referrals. Then we launched an employee advocacy module. So we generated lots of leads for the companies through the employees networks. And then more and more companies were approaching us and asking whether we also have the opportunity to kind of nurture those relationships they already built through the employees networks, because often you only hire one person, but you have 10 qualified leads. And so, pretty much 1.5 years ago, we said, okay, let's do something for this and launch a candidate relationship management system. That's something we just launched and we're very proud of. Yeah.
Wow. So how big is the team now?
We are 55 employees at the moment.
Oh. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a nice size. You still know each other.
Yeah. What's your specific role within that? Do you manage just certain teams, or what's your specific role within that?
Yeah, I must say that this gets more and more difficult to say what I'm really doing. In the beginning, I was always saying, I'm doing sales, kind of, and now it's more, I'm basically do everything and nothing, if you want to say so. Yeah. So,
hang on, Daniel's here, isn't he? He can set me straight into what you actually do.
So I mean, my role is now the role of the CEO. So I manage the relationships with all our investors. Yeah, I take care of the culture at Talentry, that we hire the right people. I support our sales team. I'm involved in kind of discussions with strategic partners. I must say it's really a lot about recruiting, actually. I would say most of the time would be probably recruiting. Yeah.
And of course, importantly, Thirsty Thursdays.
Yes.
And Thirsty Thursday. Yeah. So yeah, I was just telling before that we had a Thirsty Thursday party yesterday. So still a bit sad, not sad, but there you go, a bit sleepy.
I think Audra and I just have Thirsty Thursday jealousy. I can't even say it. It's very hard to say.
I don't need a company. I just have it at home on my own.
Audra's actually recovering from her weekend of 3 gigs in a row, wasn't it, for your band?
Yeah, I'm finally recovered.
Yeah. Which really helps. Did you find it quite hard? Because I haven't even got to the point of getting 1 employee, because I've always thought I couldn't. How did you go from like 1 to 5? Was that quite hard?
Yes, it was hard, but we also did lots of mistakes going already from 1 to 5. Yeah. Because I mean, we didn't have much experience before. We didn't have a kind of great brand. We didn't have much money, much capital. So I think you're not in the best position when you start a company. So yeah, we first started with interns and didn't hire that many experienced people. So it was really more about kind of training yourself and reading blog posts and kind of, getting lots of knowledge about how you start a company, about the HR space. And but we in the beginning we hired lots of wrong people, if you want to say so, and learned a lot.
Yeah, but it's quite normal though. I mean, I just think that the first hire is quite hard in itself, and then because having to let go. Is it this baby that you've grown up and that kind of a thing? Yeah, that was really tough. So I also remember we had one decision where we hired someone who was supposed to make kind of lots of meetings. So he was doing all the cold calls, and he was doing so many meetings that we didn't have enough people who could kind of visit the customers and kind of do the meetings. Yeah, and so we had to kind of. Because he did such a good job, we had to kind of change his position because we didn't have enough capital to also hire another person. So we said, look, we made too many meetings. We now have to hire someone who's actually doing the sales job. Yeah. So those were kind of the tough decisions in the beginning. Yeah. I need one of those. That's the bit I hate. The cold calling. It sounds great.
Yeah. So your customers mostly in Europe, your US too, or where are your major customer base?
Yeah, so we started in Germany as a German company, and Germany is also a very, very big market, and I would also say very convenient market. But we internationalized last year, so we also opened an office in London. We have 2 people also working from London, and also address the Nordics and the Benelux. So those are also markets where we have our first customers. But still, most of our customers are actually based in Germany, Austria, Switzerland.
Do you plan on coming to the US, or is that not your?
No, that's definitely on our roadmap, but not for this year. So that's something we're planning to address next year.
There's so much business here, isn't there? To be fair, in Europe.
Well. Yeah, I mean there are so many companies here also in Europe. Yeah, so even in Germany, probably we wouldn't even have to address kind of markets outside of Germany. We could really grow a lot inside of Germany because there are so many big companies. Yeah? But the thing is, if you want to build a great product, you have to become international, because otherwise you build a very German product, which fulfills the needs of German recruiters. But of course, we want to become a global big company, and that's why we said, okay, let's internationalize. And
so, what have you found the differences, say, between the Germans and the English recruiters and the Nordics and stuff? Is there a difference amongst the recruiters, or?
Yeah, I would say in terms of market maturity, I would say probably UK and Germany are pretty much on the same level. So they already also have a very kind of mindset where they do lots of active sourcing, where they treat candidates like customers, and I would say that
well, they should treat candidates.
They should, or at least they're talking about it at the conferences, and they think what they could do better, and also use more modern technology from my point of view. And I would say in the Nordics, we see that maybe the market is a bit behind, but it's kind of keeping up. So we see companies already starting with active sourcing, but it's more, I would say, in the beginning. And Netherlands
they're a bit
is very,
more scared, aren't they? There's a bit more resistance.
Yeah, and Netherlands is a very, very mature market from my point of view. Yeah, so they are kind of using lots of modern technology, lots of LinkedIn, and but
very clever sourcing going on in the Netherlands.
Yeah, but I was really surprised that actually all markets have the same problem. Yeah, so it's not a kind of talent shortage. It's not a German problem or a UK problem. It's really a big global problem. Yeah.
It was quite amazing when I spoke at a conference in Greece, which I don't think was last year. I think it might have been the year before. At this point, I've lost track. You would have thought there, where they had high unemployment, that it'd be easy to recruit, and it wasn't, because they had the brain drain. So everyone in STEM is leaving. Yeah. And so, of course, they themselves were struggling to recruit, and you're just going, it's just crazy. There's such high unemployment in other areas.
Yeah, and I think like if you think further, probably there will be jobs which will be very easy to find, because when probably the economy is going down and you also automate lots of stuff and you have lots of AI, probably the jobs which are automated, there will be lots of unemployment in those areas. But on the other side, there will be a massive war for talent for software engineers and all those positions. So I think that's very interesting that kind of this gap will become very, very big, probably, between lots of talent shortage and really lots of unemployment.
Maybe. So I don't know, because I worked in the bank when the teller machine came in, and there are still tellers in the bank. Yeah. The jobs just shifted, like, I don't know. I suppose we'll find out. There needs to be people to support the automation, is it?
Yeah, but anyway, the war for talent will be a thing for the next couple of tons of years. Yeah.
See, I still think it's a fight for attention, which is why I'm quite interested in the candidate nurturing side of what you're talking about. Because I think that that candidates are little keyboard warriors, and Audra sends them a message, and they're like Googling, oh, who's this Audra Knight? Oh, I don't like men with blue hair. Oh, not talking to her. Joke. Yeah. Audra, she has finally laughed. Sorry, her husband has blue hair currently. So it's like that. We're all under review, and I'm not sure every recruiter's caught up with that. So from that, you're trying to get someone's attention. You're trying to win it. That engagement piece. I personally think that's kind of more of the problem.
Yeah.
A lot of recruiters over here, they're not doing the candidate nurturing on the bigger scale, like the talent pools, and that's where I think it's going to change a lot next year. More and more companies are doing that, and keeping them in touch and keeping people, your brand out there, so they know you, they heard of you, so that when the job comes up, they're around. That's something I don't see much over here yet. It's totally happening, but slowly. Is it the same over there?
Yeah, it's definitely the same. So what we see is really that more and more companies start to put that engagement layer on top of the ATS and build really a talent pool where they kind of build relationships with candidates before they apply and kind of keep them in the loop before they actually turn into applicants, right?
So what do you ask your clients to share? So they go and get you a piece of technology and they're going to keep their pool warm. What with?
Yeah. I think this is something many companies actually struggle with a good content marketing strategy. So that's where we see where companies always have the biggest pain. That they say, okay, we don't know what we should kind of share with our employees. So what they always start is sending a birthday card or something. Yeah. So they say, hey, we want to say happy birthday every year so that they keep us in mind, and that's kind of some kind of engagement they always want to do. But I think what really helps is when you do lots of events where you have really good quality events, good meetups, where you invite the people in your pool to those events, and they can really they get in touch with the real work the company is doing, and right with the employees, so that they can connect with them and really build stronger relationships at those events. So between offline and online. And I think that's something what I would always try to do, to really kind of keep them in the loop and and not only sending them birthday cards or birthday messages, but also try to kind of get them into the company, do some events and some more offline events, so that to connect my employees with the candidates, right? I think that's very,
and show them inside. Actually, Zalando does that very well over there. Yeah, sorry, no, that's Berlin, but close. Yeah. It's in the country.
Yeah. I told you I'm from Berlin, so I've lots of sympathy for any company coming from Berlin.
Yeah, they do that really well. So
and of course, what we also offer, like also talking about content, is an employee advocacy module. So what we really like is when companies do engaging content or have engaging content in place where they have kind of good videos. Maybe just interviews with their employees where they enjoy working for the company. I think it's important that you have lots of authenticity and that it's very authentic. But when you have then your employees sharing that content also with your friends or with people in the talent pool, and you kind of nurture those relationships through your employees, I think that's very strong. So
how does that work from a cultural point of view? I'm just thinking the Germans are quite conservative and quite guarded, except Berlin. How do you? But they are. I'm grossly generalising the entire population. I appreciate that, but there is a reserve. They're always a bit more resistant to doing some naughty sourcing or sharing. So is that changing?
Yeah, it's definitely changing. I think the companies are sometimes a bit too slow and really kind of executing it. So when you go to all those events, they have been talking about the same topics for the last 5 years. And then next year, they're still talking about it, but they just don't do it. They don't execute. I think the mindset at least has changed actually in all companies, and they're just looking for ways how they can actually kind of execute their strategy.
That's really cool. Going back to Zalando again, they have a very good blog from their product designers on Medium. If you're looking for examples to show your clients, can't recommend it enough. It's really clever because the product designers write it with lots of advice for others, and therefore they all get attracted to the blog. And then on the bottom, it's like a little, would you like to work for us? So
yeah, exactly. I think those are the things which work really well. Yeah, I also know lots of startups, and we are also, for instance, planning to do kind of having our engineers blogging. Because then just see with which technology you're working with, what they really like, and that's something where they might consider to also even apply. Yeah.
What about your clients that just don't have any content yet? That's really common over here. They have a recruitment team that is super busy with 50 recs each, and they don't have time to blog. Or I get the engineering part, but say they're like, where do I even start? We have nothing. How do you get this kind of get the mindset and get started?
Yeah, so I what we always try to teach them is that it doesn't have to be very kind of professional content. So I think it's sometimes they just kind of try to reinvent the wheel. But I mean, actually, you just need a camera. You think of a good format. You ask 3 questions, and you just kind of ask your employees, and you put it on our platform, and then employees can share it. And if it's authentic, it's a cool message. So I think there are lots of good examples for authentic content out there, and sometimes you just kind of need to push the customers that you just try it out, and then they will see that it's working. And then also sometimes when customers say, look, we don't have any good content, and we kind of really look into some kind of marketing content, there's actually often also kind of huge portion of employer branding related content on their website or on some social media channels. Which has been created by the marketing team, but which is also doing the job for employer branding from my point of view. And so we also kind of try to educate them that they can also reuse other content they have not created and just kind of put in our platform. But it's
funny how they don't, sometimes they're not talking to each other, isn't it? So you've got the recruiters here and employer branding over here, not sharing.
Marketing over here, recruitment over here.
Exactly, yeah, and sometimes really you have the best employer branding campaigns, really attractive content, and then candidates try to apply, and they first have to register, and it's just not like you really can see as a candidate from a candidate point of view that there was a marketing team, which thought of a great campaign, but when it really comes to recruiting and kind of having a good candidate experience to apply, it's changing completely. And I think that's where you need to kind of tear down the wall between employer branding and recruiting. Yeah.
Audra, tell Carl about your husband with that application that asked for like social security number and all of that.
And it wasn't that. It was well, that has happened in the past, but it asked him his grandmother's maiden name and his mother's maiden name to apply for a job.
So all of the security questions that you'd use to log into PayPal and things like that, it was asking for all of those as your banking or like, yeah, it's hilarious. And it made it into the book.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But you're exactly right. You go through this process and suddenly there's this huge obstacle. It's just crazy.
It used to be more acceptable. You used to kind of expect it to take an hour to fill out an application, like a long time ago. Now it's like, dude, I spent 3 minutes, I'm done. I can't even you expect it to be faster now.
Yeah,
it's online shopping, isn't it? Click, 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 and you know what it's like. If you can't pay for it, you're like, I'll do it tomorrow, and then you never do.
Yep.
Exactly. But that's also something I like a lot about candidate relationship management, because you can just collect data over a certain point of time. Because of course, when you want to hire someone, you also need some data, probably not the social security number or something, but you want to have certain data to base your decision on. And that's what I think where candidate relationship management is really helpful, that you can just collect data over kind of long period of time, and you just have a candidate profile where you kind of fill the gaps. And kind of, but more in a way where you kind of build a relationship and you give something and you take something from the candidate, and not like how it's happening today. You have an application mask and you say, look, here's the way to apply, and now give us kind of 20 questions. That's not a fair process. And
I think there are some instances, so it should be an either or. Have you got a CV? Upload it. You don't have a CV? Okay, quick, answer these questions. Because a lot of the kids coming through probably don't have CVs or resumes. So it shouldn't be a both, ever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially when you do active sourcing, you can't expect that they already have a CV. Yeah, they have a social media profile, and
could be 10 years old too.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're reaching out to them.
Yeah.
Actually, technically, mine would be 10 years old. It actually is. Sorry, I'm just realizing that's when I left the world of work.
I don't even have
started my business. Yeah.
My last one is from the one I made, kind of where I made an internship during university. So I wouldn't. Pretty outdated.
I literally don't have one. That's quite funny. So Audra's the only one that's got anything up to date, probably. So. Sorry.
Oh, actually, go for that.
No, Michael Cox. Hello. Mary's been very chatty as well. Welcome to our show. I think it's the first time Mary's been here. Mary's speaking for me at Disrupt HR in Glasgow. I'm so excited. Our ATS provider sends emails to my boss expressing concerns about my constant requests to cut the app process down to send CV first. I'll send CV, first name, email, phone number. Done. Love it. That's brilliant. So you just keep getting in trouble from your ATS provider. Oh, we don't want to make it easier. We want to tell on you to your boss. Oh, my God.
Jeez.
Are you going to name and shame your ATS provider? Come on.
Yeah, give it to us. There's so many. I mean,
it has to be brass string. Oh.
That's the name of it?
Is that the name of an ATS? That's brilliant.
That's the problem. Is there's so many old ATSs with such bad tracking of sources and that bad.
I think sometimes there's also the attitude of the TA. Sorry if everyone I'm offending, but the TA leaders. So someone was asking in the group about onboarding, and I went, really, you should go look at Onboarder. It's the best pre-boarding tool out there, but it's all about marketing. It's not about onboarding as in, here's your contract, here's some boring finance documents, let's security check you. Shut down. I was completely ignored. My comment was just like, not even a humor. Oh, I'll go and have a look. Oh, God. Bad attitude. Not good at all.
I have a question. When do you think it's appropriate and tactful to ask people to put their jobs on social media, like specific jobs? You know, they have a new one that's really, and they have people in their network that might be interested. How do you do that tactfully without being like hot job on LinkedIn and just annoying people?
So you mean how employees can, or how we enable employees to post jobs on social media from the employer?
Yeah, we talked about content in general and like more specific. But what about jobs? Like, is that appropriate? When is it appropriate? How do you do it tactfully?
Yeah, so I mean, in that case, I would have to talk about kind of the technical solution, what we actually do at Talentry. So first of all, kind of we inform the right people about the right jobs. I think this is very important, that not like always when a job comes up and you don't have the relevant network for it, you're informed about every job. So it's only when you're working, for instance, in marketing, you're informed about a marketing job, and you can kind of select your interests. Yeah, and then you receive a push notification when kind of your employer is posting a job. And then we just make it extremely easy for the employees to share it with their network. Yeah, so they can either kind of share it on Facebook, Sing, LinkedIn, whatever network they're using. And most companies also have some kind of gamification behind it. So what we can also offer is that you can allocate different points for different actions the employees are doing. So for instance, you could say when you post a job on kind of LinkedIn, you get 5 points. If someone is kind of clicking on that job, you get another 2 points, and so on. And then you can kind of swap those points into an incentive, where you just have a catalog. And this don't only have to be monetary incentives, could also be kind of parking on the parking spot of the CEO, or stuff like this. You don't always have to pay
Carl
money.
gives up his parking spot.
I come to work by bike, yeah. So I can.
Wise move.
I can offer to
park in my spot.
I can offer a free bike ride, but I think that this is very this is very helpful when you have some kind of incentive.
Who's your colleague over here who I spoke to about your product? His name's gone out of my head. Oh, not Daniel, your other gentleman who showed me the referral side. Because you're feeding into the dopamine, aren't you, with the instant referral. So if someone refers, they get an instant perk, be it a coffee or free lunch.
That's cool. That's unusual.
Yeah. Well, it's like, wasn't it? It was something like that. Carl will have to explain. I can't remember. That was last year.
Yeah, so that's also something you could do in that case. So any incentive system you have in place, that's something we can set up, and that's really cool. But I mean, but you can't buy referrals. Yeah, so either incentive system you have in place, if you just don't have a referral culture, it's probably not working. So that's also something where I would always look for. I mean, typically you have those NPS questions, right? Where you ask your employees, would you refer us as a company? And when 99% say no, where's the sense in kind of implementing a referral program?
Please don't buy our referral tool. Please don't. Please don't. We don't want that bad reputation.
So probably,
many companies use the NPS because it's not very common over here. I definitely see the benefit. I think it's cool, but it's just not very common over here. Is it over there?
Yeah, it actually is. Yeah, I would say most companies do it, not on a monthly basis. I would say on every 6 months, yearly. I think they could do more often. I mean, there are more tools in place which really measure your NPS constantly.
I just think they should have the little happy or not thing like you have at the airport. You know, when you pass through customs, was it good or bad, or how the bathrooms clean? There should be one of those at the door every day. Yeah. You'd have some idea of the vibe going on in the office.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's also stuff I in our company think a lot of as a CEO, or like, what can we do that they stay at our company? And so we ask this very regularly, those kind of questions, where we have a survey and then we just ask them what they would improve, and ask lots of questions to know what we can improve as an employer. Yeah.
I would have the CEO having an actual parking space rather than cycling to work. So what do you do if you've got a customer where you can see that they don't have a referral culture? I mean, do you like walk away and go like, I don't want to be associated with that. The tool's not going to work. They're going to hate us. Or
so I would love to say we say no. Yeah, but I guess depending on the price, like if it's a really big customer and kind of the ticket is really high, maybe we would still say, let's work on your culture together and make it a good project. Yeah.
So you will have those hard conversations with them and say like, we have to ignore Audra in the chat comment. But do you have you had those hard conversations where you're like, oh, you really do have to sort your culture out?
Yeah, I mean, we typically focus on enterprise customers, so you typically have also really a sales cycle where you also build a relationship with your customers. So you talk a lot about also those aspects, and that's part of the qualification criteria. Kind of those kind of questions we ask. So yeah, that's and I mean, you don't always have to ask them. You can also go on Glassdoor or kind of other platforms, and you already get a first impression how the culture is like. Yeah.
It's when they don't take them seriously.
And it's not even you saying anything negative. It's like, dude, it's right there. Check it out.
Yeah.
What other review sites are popular over there? Is Keynote popular over there? Are there other ones?
Yeah, actually, no one is using Glassdoor in Germany. Most people really use Kununu. Yeah. So it's something which
and maybe Indeed. The Indeed reviews are quite powerful as well.
Yeah.
So, not so in Germany, just Kununu.
Not so in Germany. Yeah, I would say it's really just Kununu. Yeah. So that's something that companies try to improve their Kununu score. Yeah.
Well, hopefully they read them and actually go, I'll improve my processes. That'll improve my score rather than blagging it.
But it's good reviews.
It's quite funny. And I was just looking for a new vet because I just had a really bad vet experience. So I'm like going through and I read all of the reviews on every site I could find for this vet before I rang them up. And you just go, why wouldn't, it's an employee's career. I'm just doing that for my vet. Like, why would you do that? And why do companies not take it seriously?
But like that's exactly the thing I wanted to kind of tell in the beginning, that the way we do decisions has from my point of view changed completely. Yeah. So now it's really before you interact with a buyer or also with the employer, you first kind of already start to get lots of information. So you already start with a much higher or you're much more educated before you actually already start the conversation with the employer. So probably most employers don't even know which candidates don't apply because they have bad reviews or something, because the decision is already based based on the experience they had with the employer long before the application process.
I'm going to address this. So because Mike Cox has written here, but obviously on the Glassdoor there are some very fake reviews. And I'm not denying when I went through the vet reviews, there were definitely fake ones on there. But I do think if you have enough and there's a common thread the whole way through, you can balance out your very angry and your very avid employees and go, okay, there's a theme going on here.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
It's easy to tell which ones are from the recruiters.
We love our company. It's fab. Yeah, whatever.
I have a question going back to your reviews just for a second. How do you feel about paying big bucks for referrals once they've stayed 3 months? You get $1,000 or $2,000 bonus. Didn't get work because it doesn't work, or I mean, a lot of companies are do that.
Yeah, I would say most of our customers, probably 99%, do it that way. And I think it's good to have some kind of incentive. So, but more like that they do it again. So you can't buy referrals in the first place. But if they kind of get something like 500 euros or 1,000 euros afterwards as a thank you, they feel more appreciated and probably do it again because they had a positive experience and will do it again. But you can't go to your employees and say, look, we know we have a bad culture, but you get 2,000 euros if you refer us as a company. They still won't refer. So that's something we really saw. And what we also saw is that the amount that the companies pay. We had a very extreme example where a company was paying 15,000 euros for one referral, and they didn't get more referrals than other customers. Yeah? So that's something where we could see that you can't buy referrals. It's not working.
I like the idea of the instant because it is kind of not exciting when you have to wait 3 months and then get your reward. Like with kids, like they tell you, like, you got to give them whatever, yes or no, right away. And 3 months from now, it's just not.
It's things that have even more so have created our dependency on that dopamine hit, that like notification.
The leaderboards, I guess, helps with that.
Yeah.
But even still, if you've taken the time to write it in, you want that instant reward, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's something what works really well when you do something and you directly get a push notification, thank you, and you have some benefit out of it, whether it's a coffee or a lunch or whatever. But that's something the employees really like and what really drives engagement. Yeah, but I think the reward is not as important. Like in Germany, it's even worse. Sometimes companies have to, like, we have a 6-month probation period. Yeah, so then you have the whole application process. So often after you made the referral, you wait 9 months after you get a reward, and I mean that's not so motivating.
No.
So
do you get lots of, we call it, well, they're starting to call it candidate ghosting, which just, of course, makes me very, very laugh a lot because recruiters have been ghosting for years. But in that 6-month notice period, do you get lots of people drop out of the process and not start then?
In Germany in general, or? Just
as far as you're aware, because it's happening a lot. I know it's happening in the US a lot, and it's happening here a lot, where people just don't start. Because in the interim, in the 6 months, they could be getting other job offers and interviews. And yeah, because if they're not pre-boarded properly, so I give Audra an offer and I never talk to her and expect her to turn up on day one. She's not going to. But
so not during probation period, you mean even before, like when it's in the kind of notice period with your.
So what? No, once they've, you said it's a 6-month notice period, so they resign.
No, probation period, not notice period. Notice period is up to 3 months. Yeah, it's not.
That's so long. 3 months is still really long.
3 months is a long time. So you have 2 weeks, right? We have 4 weeks. So you have 3 months. 3 months is a long time.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, sorry, I did mishear that.
Why?
I don't have those 2 Thursdays as an excuse.
but still, I mean, it's happening sometimes, I think, but not that often. It rather happens that you hire someone and in the probation period, you somehow find out that you did a wrong job in recruitment. Yeah.
Why is it so long, the 3 months? Do you know why? Seems crazy long.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something which is more kind of, I would say, standard from a company point of view, that they say, look, we want to stay, we want to keep our employees as long as we can, and want to have enough time to find someone else when they leave. So yeah.
I'd want to get rid of them once they resign. They're not interested in being there anymore. You might as well shut them out the door, no? Bye. Not all. Obviously, you need some kind of handover, but if they really are wanting to go, it's probably like.
Yeah, but during probation period, you only have 2 weeks notice period.
Yeah.
So that's why they say, look, in the 6 months, it's a bit longer, so you can really see whether it's matching, and if it does, I mean, then they should stay anyway.
Yeah. Well, we hope they're doing a great job interviewing, and they're using your referral tools to be referred in by people who want to work with them and know what they're like. Maybe. So it's quite exciting. So what's next on the project plan, other than taking over the US at some point next year?
Yeah, so I mean, of course, we build our product. So we want to create something like a recruiting wheel. Yeah, so we really want to. I mean, we started that we connected employer branding and recruiting, and kind of by implementing referrals and kind of relationship management. And the next thing we see is also kind of the whole retention topic, in terms of allowing internal engagement and internal mobility of candidates, that they stay longer. Because of course, when you have less employees leaving and you have less retention, then you don't need as much recruiting. So I often have the feeling that they only see the KPIs they have in their departments. So they have the employer branding KPIs, the recruiting KPIs, and maybe some retention KPIs. But the people in recruiting probably don't even know the KPIs of talent management.
There are very few tools. So when I was doing that bit of the book, there are very few tools that really show, like, across the company. So, Carl over here is doing this project and I could go work on it, or Audra could go work on it, but we don't see it. And the only tool, and it's only for huge enterprises, is ProFinder, which is really great at being able to sort of see who's got what skills and what they're doing, and map across with sort of, what's it called? It's gone out of my head. That technology that does that, but what projects are going on so that they're matching people all the time. So that'd be something to look at, because nobody's doing it. That will help retention, because people want to stay interested and learn, but that might mean a move. It might, and there are very few tools that do it well. So I'll send you the link afterwards so you can have a squeeze. It's very, very cool.
It's tricky, internal mobility.
That would be good. But I mean, like, and also the things we discussed, right? I mean, that way we already have the employees using our app. So it's also much easier to ask things like a Net Promoter Score, or like the idea you just had, are you happy or not? Yeah. and you just have those kind of instant campaigns, and you already get a feeling whether your employees kind of feel good and you have a good culture in place or not. And I think you always need to see it as a whole in the organization, and not only the narrow recruiting piece or the narrow employer branding piece. But
of course, that's just one part of engagement, isn't it? Yeah, it takes more than that to get people to stay.
Exactly.
So,
how often do you specifically ask your company, you know, how happy they are? Is it or what?
Only on Thursday every 3 months.
Yeah.
When they're drunk.
That's always a good timing. Yeah, to ask after the party.
That's for the Glassdoor review.
Yeah. Can you just write it now?
Yeah. So today everyone is busy writing Glassdoor reviews. Yeah. No, but yeah, we do that on a regular basis. That we ask them, and it's working well. Yeah.
Actually, sorry, I just clock what Michael Cox had written there. So when we were talking about the retention side, I kind of agree that yes, it probably should go into HR. However, if you've got an open role and there's someone in your company who's capable of doing it, it'd be great if you knew that for that internal mobility. I just don't think there's enough transparency of that yet. We can seem to always go outside and find people.
Exactly, but I mean, that's something what you can. I think where technical solutions can help, right?
Me, sorry, Michael's picking me up on how I pronounce my HR.
Yeah, so I think that's something what really helps. Yeah, when you have a pool and you also have all the skills of your kind of internal candidates and also the external. And you just sit together with the hiring manager, and you probably don't even need a job description. Yeah, you just go into the search and say, okay, what kind of candidate do you need for that position? And you just look in your talent pool, and you narrow down the profile, and you kind of just build a relationship to them and talk to them. And I mean, then you just save the whole process, right? You don't wait until you write a job description and then you think about your recruiting strategy. You just kind of grab into the pool, get the right candidate out of it, and see what you can do with them. Yeah?
Could you imagine your recruiters using their own talent pools to recruit from? Sorry, Mike, I bet you do. But other than that, like, who does that?
Well, a lot of that comes into tools. If you have a dusty old ATS, you can't source from it. You just actually can't, which is crazy.
They're all having to put tools on top of the ATS, aren't they? We had that on the previous show. Yeah.
And then boatloads for the ATS, and then you spend boatloads so you can search in it. It's completely crazy.
I mean, the problem is that ATSs are they're job based, right? And but I mean, for this kind of thinking, you need a candidate based tool and not a job based tool where you have open positions. So I think that's the problem. Sorry,
we're being slightly distracted by the side channel at the moment, Carl. Apologies.
Yeah, I also have that too. There has to be some funny stuff here. So.
For Mary, if your recruitment process is honest and transparent, reflective of your company, and your onboarding process is great, and you have lots of fun stuff as well as actual career opportunities, surely retention takes care of itself. I mean, yes, but does every company have all of that?
Yeah. Like, I think it's not only always about culture. Sometimes they are also looking for new challenges, and it's probably something you can't influence with culture. Yeah, maybe it's, for instance, for engineers, they just want to learn sometimes a new technology, and they probably still love your company, but they just look for something else. And I think that's something
about culture. Truckers won't care about culture necessarily because they're in their truck on their own. So
a lot of the culture stuff, like you saw the video of me going down the slide in OVO offices, much as that was great fun.
Where was that? That was hilarious. That's
it was absolutely great. I know, and it went really fast. I thought I was going to die. Anyway, but that's all designed for extroverts. So even though I'm really loud, I fall on the introvert side. I do not like working in an office. I like working on my own in silence. And so it's like a lot of the cultures are these. We've got really open plan offices, and we've got funky little breakout areas, and they're all designed for extroverts. Be quite interesting at some point if it backlashes.
Yeah, you know, like the German LinkedIn Xing, they just did a rebranding, and they called themselves now New Work SE. It's the new company name. The new company name is not Xing anymore; it's New Work. Because everyone is just talking about new work, and we're really agile, and we have open offices and so on. But I think it's just not. I think it's not something for everyone. I think just for some companies, it's not the right method of working. Yeah, and probably they would all the KPIs would probably go down when they start having open offices, shared desks, and so on. So I think you always have to see it very individually, company by company.
Yeah, and someone was it was my gym instructor was telling me that his friend is a really senior partner in a law firm, and he no longer has a permanent office. So that used to be one of the perks. You get your big office, wouldn't you? So he's got a locker. And so what he does, because he doesn't get any work done, is he just forgets to book an office and doesn't turn up at work. So he works from home. So he's just like, I can't stand it. I know, it's crazy. So I think we've gone too far the other way. But I quite like Reward Gateway have great offices because they have little booths and stuff. But I would go and hide all day. You wouldn't see me. I'd be in the booth. I'd come out for food and go back.
That's the key, is the mix, right? Some people, I think I'd be pretty comfortable right in the middle in there, but then there's it would be nice to kind of go hide in a corner and have some privacy.
I think the easiest way to find out is just ask them if they like networking. So you quite like networking a room and I completely don't, right? I think that's your easy answer as to where people
probably
fall. Yeah. So Audra would be right. She'd be off talking to everyone. I'd be like hiding in the corner.
It depends.
Oh my God, Michael's comment's so funny.
I want to hear more about your CRM. So which is it? Is it like email marketing or like drip campaigns, or what kind of tool is it?
Yeah, it's everything. So it's also email marketing, it's drip campaign, it's kind of event recruiting. So yeah, you can build landing pages. You can also use it for active sourcing. So you can also use it for kind of outbound purposes, that you have some kind of browser extensions and you kind of save your leads in different pools, and from there kind of reaching out to those candidates and try to build a relationship. It's about kind of getting the consent from those candidates. So it's also GDPR ready. And automated campaigns, automated workflows. So there's really lots of functionality in there, which just helps you in all aspects to get the right people in the pool and to engage with them.
What's the landing page builder like? Is it kind of like drag and drop, or is there templates, or how do you build it? Yeah,
so in that case, we use an external technology, which we kind of build inside the tool, and that way you can just very easily kind of what you see is what you get, like, get your logo, and you don't need to have good programming skills, because then probably the recruiters wouldn't use it. So right. I think that's always really important, that you have just a great usability, and just don't need to have any coding skills.
Yeah.
God, recruitment has got so complicated. Landing pages,
and what I also really like is kind of that kind of lead scoring mechanisms. So you can also, a bit like when you do marketing automation. For instance, what we do when customers do kind of download an infographic or maybe a case study of us, then they get a certain scoring in the background, and we know above a certain score, the likelihood of buying our software is higher. And I think that kind of thinking also applied to recruiting and to candidates is really interesting, just to see depending on the kind of the quality they engage with you as a company. They have different scorings in the background, and you see who are really the warm leads for you. You should maybe focus on, and maybe even call them directly if you're looking for them. And who are the ones where you maybe need to kind of do something before and really build that relationship, maybe invite them to events and really see how you get them kind of further in your pipeline.
We have that too.
Sorry. Go on. Sorry.
It's interesting because we can see if someone's coming back every day, and we know, okay, they really, really want to work for our company, but that doesn't tell you much about, quality. Maybe it's tricky.
Yeah, but I mean, that tells you about interest in your company, and this combined with the skills is kind of very, very powerful information for you. Yeah, I mean, of course, that's the first thing that you want to see, how well they kind of match to your skills. And the other thing is more, okay, how do I have to reach out to them?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Definitely. If you know it's high, you can just give them a call. And we also have a thing where
telephone.
Oh. Yeah. But you're right. If they hit your career site once in a year, you know you have to try harder and use some of the clever skills to get the attention. I agree with that.
That's, by the way, question I have. So our sales was complaining that the people in UK, they don't like to pick up the phone. So he said it's much easier to get appointments via phone in Germany than in the UK. Yeah. So apparently, you don't like to call. Yeah.
No. They're really it's quite bizarre. So if you call me and whoa, sorry, I just turned my phone over. There are like 16 messages on it. So I look at my phone and I choose to answer. If I answer, I'm giving you permission to speak. But some people think, oh no, I couldn't possibly call anybody. So you actually have the people not wanting to call people, creating the whole you mustn't call, like nobody wants to talk. It's quite bizarre. To me, it's like I answer the phone, but you must have your number show. If your number doesn't show, people won't answer. So if it's like a private number or silent number or whatever they call them these days.
Yeah, it's not, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It also depends how you reach out as a vendor. Like I get these emails every day, and they're just like generic, crappy emails saying, "You need our product. We're going to solve all your problems. Can we talk today at 2?" I'm like, "No, you didn't even really send me that. It's crap." Where I feel like if they had reached out in a more clever way, I might get on the phone with them. That's really common. There's bad vendor emails. But I mean, it's similar to recruitment, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's same in recruitment, as you said. So I mean, the more generic, then it's not working. So you need to have a very clear message, probably, and same goes for your product. So that's why we see that actually phone is working best, usually when they pick it up, because you can just explain it, and you can. It's easier to build a relationship than with those generic emails or LinkedIn, which all look the same. I heard that video is also working well. By the way, also for active sourcing, I see more and more companies trying this out, that you just have your sourcer kind of having a very personalized message via video to kind of stand out from the crowd, right?
Oh, I can't see the card from here. I think it's Audra. Is it Audra or Audro? O-R-D-O or O-D-R-O? I can't remember which one it is. So Mary Palmer would love that. It's because it's specifically for agency side. And it works with LinkedIn, and you can send the videos. It's very, very cool. But I even did it where I saved a video to YouTube and was using that to promote Disrupt HR. So I was sending the little video. It's very personal, and people were playing it and responding. I was quite surprised. But I just saved it as a private YouTube video, 30 seconds. As long as the preview looks okay, people will click and hit play.
Yeah, the trick is you put the little button so that they can click play, and then it takes them somewhere. I fall for that.
Like usually I already know that I land somewhere else, but I still push it because I'm really curious what happens.
Yeah, but we haven't got to that point yet, have we? Just think of how massive our inboxes would need to be. There's an actual video in there. But I have to laugh with some of the Disrupt HR slides that they're trying to send through to me, and they're like 50 megabyte. And they're sending them by email. I can't understand why I'm not getting them. I'm like, guys, come on. You still can't send those slides. So I think it's going to be ages before we can send a video. But it is responsive. But I think Audra has a point. It's about seeing that they have a problem and saying, well, I see you have this problem. We've got this. Do you want to chat about it more? So that you're hooked, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no point just going, we can answer all your problems when you don't know what the problems are.
Yeah, so I think both as a vendor and as a company, you have to make sure that kind of the people who want to buy your software or who want to apply at your company, kind of they get the right information. Yeah? So whether it's kind of about building relationships with analysts when you want to sell your company, it's not sell your company, but sell your products, or kind of making sure that you have good reviews in place. Because the market has changed completely, right? The information is in the buyer's head and also in the candidate's head, and that way you have to make sure that that they're just able to find the right information, and you have the right message out there so that they find it. So, and I think it's shifting more and more towards that you just have to need to have the right marketing in place.
Yeah,
and that's a big challenge. So that's something we struggle a lot with.
Yeah, a beautiful lead into next week's show, actually. So we have Cynthia Travella on next week, it's going to be a really interesting show because it's completely, I disagree with, but thinks that social media recruitment doesn't work. So You booked it, Audra. I have no idea what she's going to get.
She spends a lot of time on social media, and we don't know what her angle is going to be.
It's considering I've used it very effectively for many years. I'm quite
we're also using it effectively, so I think it's working. But maybe she's referring to that maybe Facebook career pages are not working if nobody's visiting them. Yeah, I agree. But I think it's a very powerful channel to reach out to people.
Yeah, I think also that nobody's Facebook pages for anything work. That's where they make their money. It's like the
worst.
They don't charge us; they charge you to promote posts. But yeah, which is quite funny. So that should be an interesting show. This has gone so fast. There are any final things? Actually, where can we find you, Carl?
Yeah,
you don't tweet.
On social media.
Tweet.
Yeah. I don't tweet. That's right. But
no.
I have a LinkedIn account, and I think I will start tweeting this year because I have.
Can I just say, a German having a LinkedIn account? This is quite impressive.
No, I'm not using Sing at all anymore.
Wow.
Really, and less people, from my point of view, do. I think LinkedIn is becoming more and more prominent, and it's only a matter of time until kind of people will only probably use LinkedIn.
Wow, that's surprising.
Actually, I do need to update my Zing profile. So what's it called now? It's disappeared. It's not Zing.
Yeah, new work.
I might be able to find it.
Yeah.
New work.
Yeah. From Zing. I gotta check
New
that out.
work. It's called, the company's now called New Work SE, I think. Yeah.
That's weird. Anyway.
Although it makes more sense than Zing.
So we can find you on LinkedIn, and that's it, because you don't tweet. How bizarre. Right.
I will sometime this year. I will. And then you can.
It was just quite funny because we always put the guest's username, and you were the only one that didn't have one. I was like, oh,
but
at least the company does.
I have
Talentry
a Talentry account, so you can kind of put Talentry in that.
Good.
I will see it.
Run that. Who runs that?
Pardon me?
Who actually tweets from that account?
Daniel.
Daniel does. I do. Zenra is doing. So everyone who's just using it.
Daniel's here. He's just being very quiet. He hasn't said hello. Popped a question in. See?
Oh,
there he is.
Yeah.
All right. Oh my gosh, that's quite funny. Yeah, you're in the recruitment and you're not in the. But actually, from the technical people as well, there are lots and lots of technical people on Twitter. That's why I love it so much. So they just don't make it easy. Anyway, and we're officially out of time. Again, that went very fast. Thank you so much for coming on. I know it was quite a lead time from when Daniel got in touch, but we got there. It was great to hear. Great to hear more about where your product's going as well. Yeah. So thank you so much for all of that. Bye guys. Thank you for being so chatty in the side channel as well. And Audra, we shall see you next week, same time.
Yeah. Right. Thanks a lot for having me. And of course, if you want to have more information, just reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to provide more details. Yeah?
With a personalized invite to connect. Right.
Perfect.
Always. Bye guys. Have a great weekend.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.